Have you ever had that chilling feeling deep down when something feels wrong, but you can't quite name it? Picture a relationship where every glance, every touch, conceals a secret desire that even the light cannot expose. What if the signs of this hidden greed were right in front of you, but you were blinded by love or trust? The Bible gives us a stark warning in Jeremiah 17:9, which says, "The heart is deceitful above all things, and beyond cure. Who can understand it?" How then can we tell the difference between true love and covetousness in disguise? What is hidden between the lines of the most innocent-looking gestures? When covetousness enters a connection, it masterfully masquerades as care, protection, or even devotion. But like a wolf in sheep's clothing, it slowly eats away at the foundation of trust. Have you noticed how some people seem to want to possess you more than they want to love you? This secret longing, this drive to control your every step and every thought, could be a divine alarm bell. In Colossians 3-5, we are taught to put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. But how can we know if we are serving love or serving someone else's greed? There are moments when we feel a tightness in our chest, a restlessness we can't explain. These are the very moments that demand our attention. Covetousness isn't just a desire for material things. It is a desire to dominate, to hold another person as an object for one's own satisfaction. And once this desire seeps into a relationship, it weaves an invisible web that traps and suffocates. How can you identify these signs? More importantly, how can we shield our hearts from this negative influence? The journey to uncover the truth about a relationship can be painful, yet incredibly freeing. When we start to question the intentions behind the actions, when we open our spiritual eyes, we begin to see what was once hidden. But be warned, because this search can reveal truths we would rather not know. The question is, are you prepared to face that reality, or would you rather continue living in the illusion of a perfect love? Imagine a mirror that reflects not just your physical image, but also your deepest emotions. If you looked at your relationship through that mirror, what would you see? Would it be a reflection of genuine love, or the mask of disguised covetousness? Greed is like a poison that spreads silently, corrupting everything it touches. In Proverbs 27:4, we read, "Anger is cruel and fury overwhelming, but who can stand before jealousy?" How can we identify this envy and secret desire hiding behind sweet smiles and kind words? Relationships built on covetousness are like sandcastles. They look strong, but they crumble with the first wave. The desire to possess and control creates a false sense of security that is quickly proven to be an illusion. Have you ever felt that you were being drained, that your energy was constantly being sapped? This could be a clear sign that covetousness is present. But how do you distinguish between genuine care and disguised possessiveness? And how do you protect your heart from this destructive force? The Bible instructs us to seek wisdom and discernment. In James 1:5, we are told, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." But how do we apply this wisdom in our relationships? How can we use discernment to spot the signs of greed? And most importantly, how should we act when we realize we are the victim of this secret desire? The answer may lie in sincere prayer, in a plea for divine guidance. When we open our hearts to God, we allow Him to show us the truth. But this truth can be painful. It might require change and sacrifice. So, are you willing to face this truth? Or do you prefer to keep living in the illusion of a perfect love, even if it's built on selfish desires? The path to truth is difficult, but it leads to liberation. And every step taken in that direction is a step toward true happiness. There are moments in life that place us before a mirror, reflecting not just our image, but the very essence of our choices. When covetousness infiltrates a relationship, it casts a shadow that darkens the true light of love. Picture a garden, where the most beautiful flowers hide poisonous thorns. Such is a relationship dominated by greed, beautiful on the outside, but dangerous within. In Proverbs 29:5, we find this wisdom: "Whoever flatters their neighbor is spreading a net for their feet." How can we recognize these traps before we are caught? Covetousness is an insatiable desire, one that is never satisfied. It feeds on insecurity, the need for control, and possessiveness. Have you ever felt like an object, as if your existence was merely to fulfill someone else's wants? That feeling is a clear signal that something is wrong. But how do you deal with this reality? How do you confront someone you love who is treating you like a possession? The answer may lie in setting healthy boundaries, seeking spiritual support, and praying for wisdom and discernment. In Philippians 4:7, we read, "And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." To guard your heart means to protect it from negative influences and selfish desires that can destroy it. But how can this be done in a relationship where covetousness is already present? The answer may come from a shift in perspective, seeing the other person not as an object of satisfaction, but as a human being with their own needs and desires. And above all, it means seeking divine guidance to make the right decisions. When we allow God to guide our steps, we pave the way for true happiness. But this journey demands courage. It demands that we face the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Are you willing to confront that truth? Or would you rather continue living the illusion of a perfect love, even if it is rooted in selfishness? The choice is yours. But remember, true freedom is found in living according to the divine will, in loving without possessing, and in giving without expecting anything in return. Life is a journey filled with choices, and every choice has its consequences. When greed creeps into a relationship, it creates a twisted path, full of obstacles and traps. Imagine a labyrinth where every wrong turn takes you further from the exit. Such is a relationship dominated by covetousness, confusing, painful, and seemingly endless. In Romans 8:5, we read, "Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires." How can we walk in the Spirit when we are trapped in a relationship that suffocates us? Covetousness is a desire that is never satisfied. It always wants more. It feeds on insecurity, fear, and the need for control. Have you ever felt that no matter what you do, it's never enough? This feeling is a clear sign that greed is at play. But how do you handle this reality? How do you find the strength to break this destructive cycle? The answer may be in seeking spiritual help, praying for deliverance, and trusting in divine guidance. In John 14:27, we find this promise, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." This peace is a divine gift, a strength that helps us face life's storms. But how can we find this peace in the middle of the chaos of a relationship ruled by covetousness? The answer may be in surrendering our worries to God, trusting that He has the best for us, and seeking true happiness in His presence. When we open our hearts to God, we allow Him to show us the way. But this path may require sacrifice, change, and the courage to face the truth. Are you willing to follow this path? Or would you rather continue living in the illusion of a perfect love, even if it is based on selfish desires? The choice is yours. But remember, true happiness is found in living according to the divine will, in loving without possessing, and in trusting that God has the best for us. The spiritual journey is a path of self-discovery, where every step brings us closer to the truth. When covetousness clouds a relationship, it creates a fog that obscures our vision, preventing us from seeing reality. Imagine a lighthouse that guides ships through a storm. That is what divine light is like. It guides us even when all seems lost. In Isaiah 32:21, we read, "Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, 'This is the way. Walk in it.'" But how can we hear this divine voice when we are stuck in a relationship that consumes us? Covetousness is a desire that corrodes the soul, creating an unhealthy emotional dependency. Have you ever felt as if you couldn't live without the other person, even if they are hurting you? This feeling is a clear sign that something is profoundly wrong. But how do you find the strength to break this cycle? How do you discover true freedom? The answer lies in seeking God with a sincere heart, asking for His guidance, and trusting that He has a better plan for your life. In Psalm 37:5, we find this instruction, "Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him and He will do this." Trusting God means placing our worries, our fears, and our pains into His hands. But how can we do this when we are trapped in a relationship that is suffocating us? The answer may be found in an act of faith, believing that He can transform our reality and seeking true happiness in His presence. When we let God guide our steps, we clear a path to true liberation. But this journey requires courage. It requires us to face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Are you willing to face that truth, or would you rather live in the illusion of a perfect love, even one based on selfish desires? The choice is yours, but remember, real freedom is found in living according to God's will, in loving without possessing, and in trusting that God holds the best for you. Life is a complex tapestry of experiences, where every thread represents a choice, a feeling, a decision. When covetousness weaves its way into a relationship, it creates knots that make the tapestry difficult to unravel. Imagine a river that flows freely until it suddenly hits a dam. That is what a relationship dominated by greed is like. Stagnant, lifeless, and without movement. In 2 Corinthians 3:17, we read, "Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." But how can we find this freedom when we are stuck in a relationship that confines us? Covetousness is a desire that imprisons us, that stops us from being who we truly are. Have you ever felt like you were wearing a mask, as if you couldn't show your true identity? That feeling is a clear sign that greed is present. But how do you find the courage to be authentic? How do you discover your true essence? The answer may lie in seeking God with an open heart, asking for His help, and trusting that He can release you from these chains. In Galatians 5:13, we find this: "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." This promise is a beacon of hope, a light that guides us even in the most difficult moments. But how can we achieve this freedom when we are trapped in a relationship that corrupts us? The answer may be found in an act of surrender, in trusting that God can transform our reality, and in seeking true happiness in His presence. When we open our hearts to God, we allow Him to show us the path to freedom. But this path might demand sacrifices, changes, and the courage to face the truth. Are you willing to follow this path? Or would you rather continue living in the illusion of a perfect love, even if it's based on selfish desires? The choice is yours, but remember, true happiness is found in living according to the divine will, in loving without possessing, and in trusting that God has the best for us. The journey we have taken together today is not just an end, but a new beginning. Every word, every reflection, every question planted in your heart is a seed that, with time, will grow into wisdom and discernment. Imagine a garden that, after a storm, reveals more beautiful and resilient flowers. That is what our soul is like when we go through moments of pain and reflection, stronger, wiser, and more prepared for true happiness. In Lamentations 3:22-23, we find this promise: "Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." This is an invitation to trust, to wait, and to allow divine strength to renew us. Have you ever felt that peace which surpasses all understanding, even in the midst of chaos? That peace is a divine gift, proof that even when we cannot see the way forward, He is there, guiding us. But how do we maintain this peace in a world full of challenges? How do we continue to grow spiritually? The answer is in cultivating an intimate relationship with God, seeking His presence daily, and allowing His light to illuminate our choices. In Psalm 62:1, the psalmist declares, "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him." This declaration is a divine embrace, a safe harbor where we can find rest and renewal. The spiritual journey is a continuous path, where each step brings us closer to the truth. But this path is not meant to be walked alone. We are part of a community, a body that supports and strengthens itself. Are you willing to share this journey with others? To leave a comment, to share this video, to subscribe to the channel, to continue growing together. Every action is a step toward a fuller, more conscious life that is more connected to the divine. May these words remain in your heart like an echo, a constant reminder that you are loved, valued, and guided by a higher power. And as you seek divine truth and wisdom, may you find true freedom and lasting happiness. Like, comment, share, and subscribe not just as an act of support, but as a commitment to yourself and to your spiritual journey. May every step you take be a step toward the light,